This is only the second neutral site thus far in the tournament where home ring advantage has proven insurmountable. Tonight, the only two fighters who will have fought in all three group stages collide in what is arguably the most anticipated matchup in the tournament to date. King Arthur Abraham versus Carl Froch, perhaps the two toughest and most explosive fighters in the tournament. And two men who have made it clear they don't like one another. Hello, everybody. Steve Albert from Helsinki, Finland. We hope you're enjoying Thanksgiving weekend wherever you are. Here in Finland, we are closing in on the final fight in Group Stage 3 of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. Arthur Abraham and Carl Froch are already assured semifinal berths in this tournament, but both men suffered their first career loss in Group Stage 2, which makes tonight all the more critical. Tonight's fight will decide Super 6 seeding, and also at stake the chance to capture the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. Both fighters appear focused and ready. And despite the personal animosity displayed during the build-up to this fight, they found time for some diversions here in Helsinki. Bundled up in hats, gloves, and plenty of layers, Arthur Abraham and Carl Froch have embraced the snow-laden Helsinki as their home during fight week.
Moi, on kiva olla, kaunista, Suomessa. It's great to be here in Finland.
Finland is very clean city, very nice city, maybe a little bit cold.
We're in Helsinki, which isn't Germany and it isn't England, so there'll be no excuses for anybody.
Finland's capital, with over 500,000 residents, was host to a busy week of activities for the two fighters.
Public workout on Tuesday, then I thought, right, Wednesday press conference, then the weigh-in Friday, and then that's it. Saturday, fight time.
I heard that you're going to go ice hockey match tonight.
Thank you.
After hockey games, media gatherings, and sightseeing,
I eat every day salmon.
Froch and Abraham are ready to heat things up in this icy city.
He's never been in with a super middleweight who hits him harder than me.
Only win for me. No more.
This is Arctic warfare.
The non-boxing activity aside, let's hope the fight is as combative as the lead-up. Yes, the elements of a classic all-out brawl. With that, let me bring on my ringside partner, Steve Farhood. And Steve, your view on how Abraham and Froch have stayed focused on tonight and the tournament.
Steve, we spoke to both of them yesterday. As usual with these two, focus not a problem at all, nor is motivation, which creates the intense focus in the first place. Remember, they're both coming off their first loss, and there is a vacant world title at stake. As for the tournament, Abraham and Froch aren't thinking about seeding or the semifinals or the tiebreakers or the big picture. For them, it's all about the here and the now, as it should be. Arthur Abraham opened the Super 6 with a thud, knocking out Jermaine Taylor. In his second bout, he was outboxed by Andre Durrell, and after Durrell slipped to the canvas, Abraham flattened his opponent with a right hand and was disqualified. It was the Armenian's first professional loss. In Carl Froch's initial tournament bout, he won a close decision over Durrell. In his next Super 6 bout, he lost a close decision and the WBC belt to Mikkel Kessler in Denmark. Tonight, he attempts to regain that belt by defeating Abraham.
And tonight, here in Helsinki, this test of survival continues as we go to the tail of the tape. Froch is 3 years older than Abraham, but Froch, the natural super middleweight, so at 6'1", he's 4 inches taller and has a 3-inch reach advantage. However, Abraham came in heavier than Froch at yesterday's weigh-in. Abraham said he'd be about 175 in the ring, Froch 171. And Steve, the key rules for tonight's WBC World Title fight.
No standing and count, Steve. No 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And the accidental headbutt rule, if the fight is stopped after the bell starting round 5, we go to the cards. Before the bell for round 5, it's a technical draw.
So we are set for the ring wars. Let's go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for Stage 3 of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. Please welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring. First, here is the former world champion, currently ranked the #2 world contender from Berlin, Germany, introducing King Arthur Abraham.
So here is the slight favorite, Berlin-based King Arthur Abraham, former longtime middleweight champ, who expects about 1,000 supporters here from Germany, Armenia, Russia, and LA. Huge fan base around the world. All the hype and trash talk aside, this is the most important fight in Abraham's career. And Steve, whether he admits it or not, he was outclassed and physically pushed around in his last Super 6 fight. He needs to make a statement tonight.
Steve, no question. You know, it's very unusual for two fighters coming off losses to be matched for a title. Hasn't happened since 1935, from what I can tell. But Abraham still considers himself unbeaten because he feels he would have KO'd Durrell. And Froch thinks he deserved the decision over Kessler. So at least in their minds, this is a matchup of undefeated fighters.
He took a verbal beating from Froch, handled it well because he knows it's meaningless once the fight begins. But he's the type of guy, if he's on his A game, he could make it a very, very rough night for Carl Froch. He's waited 8 months for the chance to redeem himself. A back injury to Froch didn't help matters. So Arthur Abraham, in all white, is in the ring and ready to go against Carl Froch here in Helsinki, Finland. Froch always looking calm and cool and composed.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the former world champion, bringing back the #1 world contender from Nottingham, England, introducing Carl, the Cobra Froch.
Is the pride of Nottingham, Carl Froch. Usually greeted by raucous fans, with most of his fans in the UK as fights, but tonight he enters a neutral environment. Claimed he'd have about 500 Brits on hand. Froch, a likable guy with a brash, outspoken public persona, confessed to us that he taunted and insulted Abraham to get into his head and make him go for the knockout. Perhaps a bit risky to antagonize a vicious puncher, but Steve, this is supremely confident, highly motivated fighter, fueled by his recent ring history.
Steve, over the past 2 years, Froch's opponents, Jean Pascal, Jermaine Taylor, Andre Durrell, and Mikkel Kessler. And tonight, Arthur Abraham. There's not another active fighter you can name who's faced that caliber of opposition in such a period of time. And if Froch is to win the Super 6, 2 more top-level opponents ahead of him.
Calls this his defining fight. Can the man who beat the only man to beat Arthur Abraham back up all his pre-fight bravado and reclaim the title he thought he was robbed of? 2 extremely proud fighters who don't want to be saddled with consecutive losses, though in their minds they're still undefeated. That's a fighter's mentality. Carl Froch getting last-second instructions from trainer Robert McCracken. Truly believes Abraham will have problems with his power at this weight, that Abraham's power is overrated. He's one-dimensional, even mocking Abraham's high guard. The makings of a memorable night in Helsinki. So here at Hartwell Arena, Abraham Froch, Group Stage 3 of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. We're standing by for the official introductions here at Hartwell in Helsinki.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Hyvät naiset ja herrat, tervetuloa. We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to Hartwell Arena here in Helsinki. Helsinki, Finland for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Zaurland Event in association with Hennessy Sports and Showtime. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, the president Jose Sulaiman, and the supervisor Bob Logist. Introducing to you our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Reno, Nevada in the United States, Bert Clements. From Villa Park, California in the United States, Max DeLuca. And from Dallas, Texas in the United States, Oren Schellenberger. And our third man to the ring, the referee in charge. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions from Lincoln Park, Michigan, Frank Garza. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. It's the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, and it's scheduled 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Helsinki, Finland, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, he is known as boxing's pride of Nottingham, England. He weighed in at 75.8 kilos or 166 3/4 pounds. With a record of 26 wins and 1 loss, he has 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the confirmed Super 6 semifinalist, currently ranked the WBC #1 contender. Here is the former WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, introducing Carl the Cobra Froch. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with black lettering and fighting out of Berlin, Germany. He weighed in at an even 76 kilos or 167 1/4 pounds. His record stands at 31 wins, 1 loss, with 25 big wins coming by way of knockout. He also is a confirmed Super 6 semifinalist, ranked the WBC #2 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former middleweight champion of the world, introducing King Arthur Abraham. Once again, a referee in charge, now to give instructions, Frank Garza.
Okay, gentlemen, we went over all the rules. Both of you, I couldn't ask for a better place to have your belt lines. Keep them up above the trunks. Touch hands, come out at the bell, may the best man win.
Jimmy Lennon Jr., classy on any continent. The Super 6 from Finland with a world title on the line. Immediately noticeable, the size difference. Abraham, the smaller man, will have to get inside, close the gap, but he doesn't like infighting. Froch's long jab and double jab could be critical tonight. Abraham in the white, Froch in the black. Round 1 scheduled for 12. Will we see more boxing and movement than usual from Carl Froch? He knows he's not Andre Durrell, but he said he'll surprise Abraham with his speed. Abraham, a notoriously slow starter, wants to apply pressure early. A major adjustment for a guy who's used to coming out just like that with the tight defensive shell.
Yeah, Steve, something to look for right away. Will Abraham be more aggressive than usual? Will Froch be able to score with the jab? That's a key, and it's not that easy to do because of the way Abraham holds his hands.
Very enthusiastic, spirited crowd. Seems to be siding a little more with Abraham. Two physically strong, rough, tough, durable guys with great chins. Both can change a fight with one punch. Both dangerous to the end. Oh, there's Abraham looking to end it on one punch. No strangers to late drama and heroics, these two. Will this come down to who lands the biggest right hands? Who will get there first?
Well, Abraham lunged. When he missed there, Froch took advantage and really scored the only significant punches thus far.
And he is an excellent counter puncher. In Abraham's last fight, Durrell gave him all kinds of problems with speed and movement. He won't have to look very far to find Froch, Steve.
Exactly. Looks like the old Abraham to me, Steve. Really not that much sense of urgency as he comes forward.
Absolutely. Be mindful, Froch with the habit of holding the left hand low or squaring up. Invitation for disaster. Abraham's monster right has produced punishing results. The left hook a factor too, sometimes wide, but it's launched many a resounding knockout. You never know when he's going to throw that looping shot. Abraham won't throw as many punches as his opponent. The punches, though, are very powerful. Froch moving forward. Not the prettiest style, but effective in his awkwardness. Froch in the black, very unorthodox, attacks from weird angles, fights basically off the back foot. The big right, his money punch, and a formidable right uppercut. Didn't see that much of it in the Kessler fight.
Right.
Could see it more here.
He threw one before, and he throws it from far away. It's a recipe for disaster because you're in no position to defend yourself when you miss with an uppercut from long range.
Approaching 20 seconds remaining in round one. Final fight of group stage 3 of the Super 6. We're in Helsinki, Finland tonight. And a flurry by Froch near the bell to end round one. Hey, Steve, give us your keys to victory for Froch Abraham.
Well, for Arthur Abraham, Steve, start faster. Abraham can't give away the early rounds this time. He says he won't. Get close. If he can make it an infight, Abraham will negate Froch's reach advantage and throw straight punches. Froch sometimes loops his shots. If Abraham shoots straight, his right can be a dominant weapon. And for Carl Froch, jab all night. Abraham doesn't counter the jab that well. Froch needs to score with his left again and again. Focus on the body. Andre Durrell punched around Abraham's elbows. Froch can do the same. And stand his ground. If Froch retreats when Abraham attacks, he'll lose control of the fight.
Second round 2.
Into the second round we go. Just perhaps heard Robert McCracken instructing Froch, telling him to not stay there. Punch and move. Don't stay in range for the heavy artillery, to be on the receiving end of the heavy artillery that Abraham possesses.
Well, that's your worry, isn't it? If Froch can keep it at range like this, you know, I think he could keep it quite comfortable, but at some point I'm sure Abraham is going to draw Froch in. But Froch at the start of this contest getting success with that left jab.
And again, that has been a hallmark of Arthur Abraham's victories. Carries that power tremendously late, but the question is, Spencer, will he bring that power up to 168, career-long middleweight, until the inception of this tournament? And even the knockout victory that he scored over Jermaine Taylor, he was practically a career-long middleweight as well. So fighting a man roughly the same size, Carl Froch, a natural super middle, naturally the bigger man.
Well, Froch certainly thinks that that's going to play a big factor here this evening. But that will remain to be seen, Ron. If Froch doing a nice things here in this opening part of the contest, working well, keeping it at good range, and Abraham just looking a little bemused in there at the moment.
Good variety from Froch, snaking out a long left to the body. Right hand almost got around the left hand of Arthur Abraham as well. Because that guard of, oh, there's that right uppercut again. That didn't get through, but the right hook around the corner did. Good work from Froch here in the second round. And that jab just piling up points, and a long right to the torso as well as Abraham.
Yeah, looking really comfortable in there at the moment, Froch, isn't he? And Abraham again, just letting that right hand go, but just out of distance. Needs to close that gap, needs to step in more, Abraham. Needs to get that head moving, because at the moment, Froch dominating at long range.
Froch enjoying a 3-inch advantage in height and a 2-inch advantage in reach. And he's employing that to wonderful effect throughout these first 2 rounds of boxing. But again, have to stress that Abrams is a thunderous puncher of the highest order, but in Froch's opinion, and indeed the record bears it out, all down at 160 pounds, middleweight, good right hand from Froch. And then Froch belting the body. Brings the reaction from Abrams, as if to say, it didn't hurt me, but when that happens, Spence, you know you've got the fighter's attention. Froch teeing off here in the second round. Wonderful punching from the Nottingham fighter. Fantastic variety.
Well, you know what's noticeable here, Ron, is when Froch is landing the shots, although they're landing on the gloves, it seems to be moving Abraham. It seems to be pushing him back, so you know them punches are having an effect, and a good right hand over the top right on the bell there from Cole Froch.
2 rounds completed, and the face of Arthur Abraham already beginning to mark up and redden from the stinging, venomous punches of the Cobra. Let's see what Robert McCracken's saying over there in this corner. Can't hear the instruction to the Nottingham fighter at the moment, but if Abraham said he was going to start quickly, he hadn't done so.
No, he certainly hasn't, has he? Here we see some of the good work from Froch. There's that corkscrew right uppercut, and Froch again keeping it at range, not getting caught with anything there, and most of the good work in that round done from Cole Froch, switching well from body to head, and another good round. This is exactly how he needs to keep it now, Cole Froch. Keep it at long range, keep it like that. Throw them right uppercuts. He was getting success with that in that second round.
Mouthpiece with the colours of the German flag inserted back into the mouth of Arthur Abrams as we begin round number 3, scheduled for 12. The vacant WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World at stake. Froch pumping out that jab to begin the 3rd round. And again, Abrams yet to find the range. You see Froch mixing it up nicely to head and body. That a smart tactic, because traditionally Abrams just cuffs those gloves around his head, Spencer, and marches forward.
Well, that's what Abraham is struggling with, Ron. He's struggling with the variety of punches from Cole Froch. Froch is doing a great job switching body, switching head, leading with right uppercuts, and that's exactly what he needs to do, because Arthur Abraham looking confused in there at the moment. He can't get past that left jab of Cole Froch.
Good right hand to the body again from Froch. And a double jab as Abrams continuing to fall short with his own jab. Cole Froch boxing beautifully at the moment here as we approach the halfway mark of round number 3. Right hand lead from Froch.
Yeah, seems to be settling in nicely there, doesn't he, Cole Froch, leading with left hooks, right hands, everything going according to plan at the moment.
Here a chant going up of Arthur, Arthur, as Froch again connects with another snapping left hand.
Well, Arthur's throwing his shots from out of range, the left foot. He's not close enough to Cole Froch, and he seems to be falling in with his shots. A good little cluster there, though, from Arthur, got closer. But yeah, just out of range at the moment. Abraham.
A little successful combination he put together did get the attention of Froch. Abraham is a heavy-handed hitter. Both of these fighters have confirmed their place in the semi-final stage of the Super 6. As Abraham gets through with a good right hand, straight right. But Froch continuing to command center ring. His right hand was wild and long and over the top on that occasion.
Well, you can see a change in the pattern here. Look how Cole Froch is going on the front foot, and you feel that the pattern of this fight could change, and it could be starting to become more of a brawl as it goes on, as expected.
Indeed, Froch was boxing. Oh, beautiful straight shots, right, left, right. Abraham pinned to the ropes near the red corner. Again, he waves in Froch, displaying machismo. But it's Froch, and a good right uppercut gets through. It's Froch who's getting the better of these exchanges as the bell sounds to conclude round number 3.
Yeah, tremendous cluster of punches there from Cole Froch, and another good round. And Abraham at the moment struggling to get in this one. He can't get past that left jab of Cole Froch, and Froch just seems to be easing into this contest.
Go that way. Do you understand me? Away from the right hand like you've trained. Sharp jab and right hand. I don't want you going big. When you're up close, just really short, and then back on the long jabs and right hands. But you've got to be busy, mate. Okay, busier than that. But when he moves away from you, you're in control.
Well, there you heard the instruction of Robert McCracken to Carl Froch. Stay away from that right hand.
Yeah, he wants him to box at long range, doesn't he? I think that's where he feels comfortable for Cole Froch. He wants to keep it at distance. Unfortunately for him, though, Cole Froch, as you know, Ron, and as we've seen through his career, loves to get involved in a tear-up, and that's the way it seemed to be going in that third round. Froch just starting to stand his ground.
Did get the better of those exchanges, though, as we begin round number 4. In this rescheduled contest. Remember, it was supposed to have taken place at the start of October in Monaco. Froch again has success with a long straight shot to the body, but a back injury suffered by Carl Froch in training caused the contest to be postponed and the venue moved north from the Millionaires Playground of Monaco to the frozen Nordic country of Finland. In Helsinki, Hartwell Arena, just the second world title bout for men to be contested in this country, and the first one since 1962.
Well, this is good again from Cole Froch, keeping it at range. That's where he needs to be, letting that jab go, taking half a step back, because that's where Abraham is confused. You see there, missing wildly, and Froch using that footwork to get himself out of trouble. This is good boxing here from Cole Froch.
As you've already referred to, Spencer, when you look back at his recent list of opponents and the attritional war that they have been, it's often hard to forget, or it's easy to forget rather, that Froch demonstrated this type of movement as an amateur early in his professional career, but good footwork being used by the Nottingham man. He just continues to keep Arth Abrahams occupied with those straight shots, and again that one got around the guard of Abrahams, and good variety once more from Froch. Body shots and then upstairs to the head, the lead right uppercut.
Yeah, really mixing it up well, isn't he? Abraham's confused, doesn't know where the next shot's coming from. Excellent boxing here from Cole Froch.
Fighters exchange jabs there, but Carl Froch just keeping him at long range and then mixing it up so well. Again, you get a glimpse of the reddened face of Arth Abraham. Oh, good, strong, stiff, snapping jab from Froch. Just rocks the thick neck back of Arth Abrahams, and he's really being put on the end of some good boxing from the Nottingham fighter.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there from Abraham, just rushing in, but Cole's working so well with that left jab, really ramming it home, isn't he? Abraham's now just trying to pick the pace up, trying to throw the clusters of punches, but nothing really getting through.
Abraham being reduced to single swings, it seems like, because he had a bit of success with the jab on that occasion. And again, you see, Abrahams thought about the right hand, didn't pull the trigger, and it was a rather clumsy amateurish foray forwards as Froch goes jab body, jab head, and then a right hand as well. Wonderful boxing from the Cobra.
Yeah, another good round there from Cole Froch, mixing the shots up. There's that ramrod jab that we see, really driving that shot in. And an excellent array of shots to body and head from Cole Froch. And Abraham's looking frustrated there in the fourth round.
Here we see Carl's girlfriend, Rachel Cordingley. Two of them had their first child earlier this summer, baby Rocco, a new addition to the family.
You've got to concentrate the whole time. Behind the jab and the right hand, have another swallow. Listen to me. 1-2 move, 1-2 short.
Well, good instructions there.
Don't go to him, then that's when you move.
You see the fervent support from his family ringside here at the Hartwell Arena. But clear instructions from Robert McCracken, concentrate the whole time.
Well, them instructions are working, aren't they, Ron? I mean, he's won them first 4 rounds for me, and he's won them quite clearly, keeping it at long range, doing it behind the jab, the old clusters of punches, and Abraham looking frustrated.
So the adaptation that Arthur Abrams promised to make after suffering his first professional loss in his previous contest, that disqualification at the hands of Andre Durrell when he struck him when he was clearly on the canvas in the 11th round of their Super 6 contest. Said he was going to start this one faster, not give away the early rounds. Hasn't done so, and we have to credit Carl Froch for that. See him make a motion with his right leg. Hopefully that was just showboating. He hasn't got a problem with any of the joints on that appendage.
No, he seems to be in his comfort zone in there. Looks like he's in total control, seems to be enjoying himself. This is a different Carl Froch we're seeing here this evening, keeping it at long range. We know how much he loves to get in a fight, and Abraham exactly the same, but Froch applying the right tactics here.
Applying the right tactics and fighting his fight to a T. Good right hand to the body. It's that type of variety he's displayed throughout this contest, and it's keeping Arthur Abrams guessing. Perhaps this isn't what he expected from Carl Froch.
No, you know what? I think Abraham expected that. He expected Froch to be standing in front of him, trading up, but Froch is just doing his work. He's first to the punch, and then he's moving, creating the space, and he's not there to be hit. Abraham's looking frustrated at the moment.
Froch working particularly well to the body in this stanza. And Abrams not noted for his movement. By investing in these body shots early, that could well reap dividends and slow the movement that Abrams has as we get longer, deeper into the fight.
Yes. Good work again there. Abraham looking for that right hand over the top. Froch doing a good job of moving there, really whipping in those shots, wasn't he?
Veritably stopped Abrams in his tracks, and Abraham is being reduced to crude swings from the outside. Froch able to see them coming and evade them with aplomb. Jab to body, jab to head again from Froch. And he is making this appear comfortable. And you hear Robert McCracken crying from ringside, and again, that jab just backing up Abraham with force, and perhaps he's just trying to clear his head and think, well, how do I negate this? How do I get around this?
And a good left hook landed again from Froch there. Yeah, Abraham's there. We see him jumping in, looking very frustrated, and a good right hand there from Froch.
And momentarily, Arthur Abrams just stopped. No physical damage, but again, perhaps just give himself some thinking time as we approach the bell here in round number 5. Good left hand from Froch, right on the bell. He's in complete control of this Super 6 contest after 5 rounds of boxing.
Yeah, another dominant round there from Carl Froch. There we see the jab going through the guard. That's the shot Abraham's struggling to deal with. Abraham can't get past that. Froch is doing a great job of keeping it at range. Now throwing clusters of punches like that one there. And really effective. There we see the screw right uppercut. And a tremendous display of boxing from Carl Froch, and there again Abraham out of distance, and another round dominated from Carl Froch.
See the markings on Abraham's face. His coach Uli Wegner got it all to do to get his charge back into this fight. Let's take a listen to Robert McCracken.
You got to be busier. Behind the jab, you cannot switch off. Block and parry move. 1-2, 1-2. Come on, mate.
Well, interesting there. Robert McCracken telling Froch he's got to be busier, but for me, he's certainly doing enough. I think he's just trying to keep him busy, get him to keep at range, throw those clusters of punches. Everything he's doing, the advice he's taking is perfect.
Froch continuing to occupy ring center, a wide-legged stance. pumping out hurtful lefts and rights, and even though some of them being caught on the forearms and gloves of Abrahams, it's negating any offense that he's trying to put together. You see him falling short with his jab continually, as Froch just contracting and expanding the ring as he likes with good use of the legs.
Well, you know what's happening here, Ron. Well, it is Cole Froch is throwing the combinations of punches, and as soon as he's finished throwing that combination, he's gone. Abrahams is taking too much time to get off with his shots. He's holding the high guard. Abraham, if he wants to get himself back into this contest, he needs to start leading off first. He needs to start trying to create the openings. It's no good just walking forward with your hands held high. Cole Froch is too clever for that. He's proved that through his whole career, amateur and pro. And at the moment, he's in complete control in there.
Highly decorated amateur, of course, Cole Froch. National ABA champion, as the left hand continues to do damage and mark up the face of Arthur Abraham. And of course, capped that amateur career with that bronze medal at the World Amateur Championships in Belfast 2001. Had the privilege of seeing him and David Hay step onto the medal rostrum there. Oh, beautiful right hook around the guard of Arthur Abrahams. And this is almost target practice for the Cobra. Good variety, down to the body. Abrahams backing up.
Yeah, just seemed to get hurt there momentarily from that body shot. Just seemed to double up, didn't he? Cole Froch doing a tremendous job, really mixing the shots up so well. Body, head, all sorts of variety, and a tremendous punch-perfect performance so far from Cole Froch.
Abraham did get through with a good left jab in that previous exchange. There you see it score again. But surely that is not enough to be turning the tide in his favor. Because at the conclusion of 6 rounds, unless he unleashes one of his thunderbolts, he could well find himself 6 rounds down on our card. Oh, wild right hand from Cole Froch. He doesn't want to be doing that, and that gives Abraham a bit of success, or at least encouragement as he comes forward with a foray. You see Froch look to his corner. No doubt Robert McCracken would have been telling him, stay on the game plan.
Yeah,
oh, and Abraham is down! Ruled a slip. No knockdown.
Yeah, it just seemed to be a little slip there, but Cole Froch seems to be really oozing confidence in there at the moment, doesn't he?
And the conclusion of round number 6. Spencer Oliver, how'd you see it?
Well, another round there for Cole Froch. I mean, I think he's boxing perfectly to all tactics here, keeping it at long range, throwing the shots, and round after round, the same thing is happening. Arthur Abraham is coming forward with a high-held guard, and he's just walking forward, and Froch is throwing the clusters of punches and stealing the rounds. Here we see the little flurry at the end of the round. That's where Froch wanted to take it to Abraham, but there it was around the back of the neck, just a little slip, not ruled a knockdown.
You see him touch down, but it was more a case of getting tangled up rather than from a clean shot.
Big shots, 1-2 up move, double jab right hand move. Come on, mate.
Well, there you see it, my scorecard after 6 rounds. I've got it all to Cole Froch, boxing beautifully, punch perfect at the moment.
Round 7.
Hey, I thought Cole Froch was the awkward fighter. He's making Abraham look very, very awkward here. Round 7. Steve Farhood, how do you have it at the halfway mark?
60-54 for Carl Froch. The only round, Steve, that I think was debatable was the first, and Froch is controlling this fight.
I think the woman screaming behind you would agree. Rachel Cordingley, the girlfriend of Carl Froch, who has taken up boxing herself.
Carl Froch with a sizable advantage in power shots. That's because Abraham's not landing his at all.
Great work rate by Carl Froch, boxing effectively, making Abraham miss with speed and elusiveness. Does this sound familiar?
Well, you know, we're looking at two fighters, Steve, who we know have the power to score very late knockouts. Froch did it to Jermaine Taylor. Abraham did it to Jermaine Taylor.
Here comes Froch. Froch pounding away. And all Abraham does is cover up. Another left hook to the jaw of Arthur Abraham. Abraham continues to struggle. Froch just has him pegged. He is not playing Abraham's game. Under a minute to go in round 7. Another round in the book so far for the Englishman, Carl Froch in black.
Body language, Steve tells me Arthur Abraham looks very discouraged right now. And he should be.
Not quite a sense of resignation, but discouraged is the perfect word. Froch again opens up. Almost everything's landing.
Exactly. Abraham has no answers. Froch has no limitations to what he can do.
A dominating performance by Carl Froch here in the Super 6. His other fights have been awfully close, Steve, but so far, not this one. Couple of good shots at the bell by Froch. Let's go back to Oakland, a report from Jim Gray.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. We are here with the champion, Andre Ward. Andre, why did you decide to take this fight at this time?
Well, I needed to. Being that I have a berth in the semifinals, you know, after Darrell pulled out, if we didn't get a fight, we were going to be on the shelf until, you know, sometime next year. It's not good for any fighter. So the key was to keep the date of November 27th. We did that, and Bika's the opponent.
And what about Bika? Is there anything specifically that concerns you?
Every fight concerns me. You know, he's coming and he's trying to take my title, so that's a huge concern. But I've prepared, and I'm ready to do battle tonight.
You paying attention to the tournament and what's going on overseas as we're watching from here? What is your assessment so far of what you see between Froch and Abraham?
Well, it's not really a concern. Obviously, I have my own business I have to handle tonight. I've heard whispers about what happened, and I just leave it at that. I have time to assess the tape and, you know, look at that fight more in depth when I get home, and I'm able to relax. But I'm just 100% focused on what we got to do tonight.
Andre, best of luck. We will talk to you after the fight.
It's always fun, Jim. Thank you.
All right, Steve, back to you in Finland.
Mann, das ist doch eine Schande, was hier ablieferst. Deine ganzen Fans sind hier die Einzigen.
Second down. Round 8.
In der Mitte und geht ums Kopf und geht für Kopf nach. Platz auf 5.
Let's go, guys. Round 8.
Du kannst doch nicht gewinnen.
Arthur Abraham getting an earful from Uli Vector. It's getting desperate in that corner. Two world-class punchers fighting for a world title in the Super 6 tournament. As this test of survival continues, who will make it to the finish line, no pun intended, as we're coming to you from Finland, and be able to truly call himself the super middleweight champ of the world. Was the last round a microcosm of the fight?
Yeah, you look at the punches landed, and that's exactly right, Steve. Carl Froch dominating in the ring and on the punch stats as well.
Carl Froch continues to do a tremendous job all around. Boxing beautifully. Being defensively elusive. And making Abraham miss. Froch bouncing around up and down on his toes. Abraham flat-footed. Continues to make Abraham go back to the ropes, pounding away, blasting away. And Abraham just stands there and invites him in. Puts his hands down dangerously. Froch missing with the right, missing with another right. But I'm not quite sure I understand Abraham's strategy.
Well, Uli Wegner said to him a couple of rounds ago, between rounds, you're not yourself. And I think he might be being himself, and it's just not enough against Froch.
Oh, look out. He gave him a forearm, a stiff forearm, and now he's resorting to roughhouse tactics. That's frustration, Steve.
Very important at this time for Froch to keep his cool. When everything's going well, don't change anything.
We saw what happened in round 11 in Detroit against Durrell when he was frustrated. He hit him when he was down after he slipped and got disqualified. This is where Froch wants Abraham, right in the middle of the ring.
And Froch seems very content not to go for a knockout. No point going for it. Abraham has a great chin, has a titanium chin, literally, because after the first Miranda fight, that's what they put in his chin to put it back together.
Along with 22 screws surgically implanted in the jaw. That was a different Arthur Abraham, Steve.
Maybe the best punch of the fight there for Abraham, but it was a little bit of a slap. That left hook didn't land solid. Action from round 8. Froch mixing up those punches. Where is Arthur Abraham? On the ropes. Square it up. Gives Froch more target. And Abraham resorting to machismo there, saying, you know, you're not hurting me. Well, anytime a fighter says that, of course, what you're doing is hurting him.
You've got to work him to death early on, so you bust him up with that jab. The jab will kill him if you keep doing it. Yeah, the jab will kill him. Yeah, but listen, the jab.
Second down. Second down. Let's go, guys. Round 9.
And Steve, Uli Wegner, Abraham's trainer, saying to him, you have one chance to win. Use your jab.
Abraham doesn't have bad technical skills. Of course, he's known for his power and his late drama by knocking people out late in fights. But right now, he's just being commanded by Carl Froch.
Yeah, and you know, as this fight gets later and later, we have to remember, too, that should Abraham connect with some big shots, there's no guarantee he's going to hurt Froch. Froch has an excellent chin. This is not Jermaine Taylor, who's been knocked out a few times in there. It's Carl Froch, who's only been down once in his career against the aforementioned Jermaine Taylor.
And that's after he was down early in the fight and came back to knock out Taylor in the 12th, in the final seconds of the 12th. And of course, Abraham knocked out Taylor, too, in the final seconds of round 12 in Germany. Of course, Froch said that his beatdown of Taylor made it easier for Abraham.
Well, what I'm asking right now, Stephen, I know you called the Abraham-Durrell fight, but did Durrell take a little something out of Abraham that's not coming back? Or is Abraham just not meant for this division? You know, when you see him in street clothes, he looks like a junior middleweight, not a super middleweight.
Blood on the forehead of Arthur Abraham. I thought Abraham came into that Durrell fight a little overconfident, a little cocky, coming off the spectacular knockout of Jermaine Taylor. And he thought that he could come up with some late inning drama, as they say. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. Never happened.
He may need the same thing tonight.
And he was coming on in that fight, too, against Durrell when he was disqualified. He would have been very capable of pulling off some heroics. But we'll never know. There's that attempt of a jab, but it's sort of like a stiff arm by Abraham.
Just tremendous discipline being shown by Froch. Technically, no, he's not the greatest fighter in the world, but boy, is he fighting a disciplined fight. He's not going for the bait, and he's not saying to himself, oh, this guy's so easy to hit.
Beautiful left-right combination upstairs by Froch. Approaching 30 seconds remaining, round 9, scheduled for 12. WBC Super Middleweight Championship. Beautiful. Beautiful left, right again to the head. Seconds to go. Beautiful counter punching by Carl Froch. Oh, just at the bell, a right cross on the jaw by Abraham.
For the first 30 seconds, he could get it going. That's how we hit you with the right hand, all right? Do me a favour.
I'm all right. You got to make that warning louder. It's got to be louder.
Action from round 9. Arthur Abraham, really, this was the best exchange in the fight so far. Probably an even exchange. Abraham did land some shots, but later in the round, Froch just takes control right again. And he didn't go for the bait. I can't say it enough. He's not trying to do too much against a fighter who's very, very hittable right now.
Alle, die kommen alle wegen dir hierher. Komm her. Komm. Du hast das immer noch drin. Hör zu jetzt mal, Junge. Komm, du musst jetzt mal. Aber geschlossen bleiben. Komm, ich höre. Also komm.
And it's round 10. Carl Froch has done just about everything but put Abraham on the seat of his pants. Abraham looking extremely disheartened between rounds on his stool. And understandably so. He just hasn't done anything. Again, it's Carl Froch with the offense. Perhaps there is something to be said for what Carl Froch said before the fight, and that Froch just wouldn't be able to handle him at this weight, or Abraham wouldn't be able to handle him at this weight.
And Carl Froch, total punches thrown and landed. Tells the story of this fight, tells the story of his control. And Steve, you know what factor tells you that Abraham has been so ineffective? Carl Froch hasn't had to clinch once. Have we seen Garza break them up once?
It's been a quiet night for the Lincoln Park, Michigan resident, Frank Garza, third man of the ring.
Yeah, we talked about Abraham needing to get inside. If there hasn't been one single clinch, well, that tells you the story. He has not gotten inside.
It has just been a brilliant fight here for Carl Froch. It's amazing the hysteria that is going on around us. Rachel Cordingley, the girlfriend of Carl Froch, screaming her lungs out behind us. We've got the British announcers to our right who are screaming their lungs out as well. And we've got the Spanish broadcast going on to our immediate right. We've got the Germans in front of us. We've got the Finns to our right in front of us. It really is an unbelievable, electrifying scene.
In a country, Steve, that has about 24 professional fighters.
And when was the last world title fight in Finland? 1962?
62, yes.
Ali Mäki lost by second round knockout to Davey Moore for the featherweight belt. Abraham trying to come on, but Froch eluding those punches. The pace picks up. Abraham's running out of time. He's becoming desperate. A sense of urgency in the German. Coming in January, Showtime has the premiere of 2 new original series, plus the return of Californication starring David Duchovny.
Take a look at former super middleweight champ Nickel Kessler. And action from round 10. Abraham had more moments in this round than he had in most of the previous rounds. I don't know that he did enough to win it, That right hand connecting a little bit to Froch's ear, but Carl Froch has a good chin, and it's going to take a heck of a shot from Abraham. No sign that that's going to happen.
You've got 2 rounds left, 6 minutes. If you switch off, I'm telling you now, we'll catch you and he'll hurt you. Carl, jab, jab, right hand, chin on your chest, gloves up, and move the feet away. You put out a slow shot to stay there. Jab, jab, right hand. But listen,
And it's time for the championship rounds, round 11, in a fight completely dominated by the Englishman in black, Carl Froch. Final fight, group stage 3 of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, and the battle for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight title. Froch's former title. He thought he was robbed of it against Mikkel Kessler, who had to drop out of the Super 6 with an eye injury. Here's Froch coming on again.
Willie Vega trying to motivate Abraham before the start of this 11th, saying to him, come on, you're so powerful, let's go. He's not going.
Partly because of that beautiful jab. Carl Froch in total command. He's getting through the guard of Abraham, getting around the guard, just like that. Beautiful looping right hand that got around the guard. Missed with the sweeping left. But the jab is getting through the gloves.
And Steve, let's be honest, we expected a war. It has not been a war, and the reason it hasn't been is because Arthur Abraham does not have the tools to connect with his power shots.
It's been a one-sided fight for Carl Froch. They were telling him in the Abraham corner, it's your turn now. Only 2 rounds. Use your jab. You're so powerful. Come on, go on. Uli Wegner. Uh-oh, here we go. Left hand, borderline. Abraham complaining. Frank Garza gave him a little time. But that's unusual for it to happen this late in an Abraham fight.
Yeah, we saw that in the Durrell fight, didn't we?
Absolutely, in many of Abraham's fights. Minute left in round 11. Interesting thing is he does stop to complain to the ref when he thinks he's hit low, and that's when you pop him.
But because of the score in this fight, Steve, if I were Froch, I'd stay away from the body. There's no point. Don't give Abraham an excuse to turn into Marlon Brando and go down.
Good work by Froch. Yeah, you're right. Play it cautious at this particular juncture. Why lose a point? Again, to the side goes Carl Froch. Just beautifully executed fight here by Froch. It has been a stunning display by Froch, making Abraham miss again with the right.
And a stunningly flat performance by Arthur Abraham.
Very disappointing performance by the German. By way of Armenia. There's that beautiful jab, and that was a powerful jab by Froch just before the bell. As we take a look at Mr. Valuev, the former heavyweight champ, it looks like these guys won't be rematched.
Exactly.
1 round to go.
And round 11, no different than the previous rounds. You see a nice left hook by Froch. One thing about Abraham, he's consistent. Look at the high guard. If it's not working well, he's not going to change it. Valuev was supposed to fight here against Ruslan Chagayev, and the fight got canceled a day before. That would have been the most recent title fight in Finland.
It's almost as if Arthur Abraham, as they touch gloves, has just folded the tent and said, well, I'll wait for the semifinals. They're saying in Abraham's corner, finish the fight, try everything. Here we go, round 12. A world title at stake. They don't want to be saddled with consecutive losses on their record either.
Yeah, what kind of momentum is that going into the semis?
Abraham obviously needs dramatics here. He needs a knockout. He is so far behind on the scorecard. He's lost almost every round. He is so desperate. Minute gone by in round 12.
And Steve, unless something crazy happens here, the fighter who led the Super 6 after stage 1 will be in last place after stage 3.
The ups and downs of the Super 6.
Froch so relaxed in that clinch. You see him looking at his corner.
And if Abraham were able to muster a knockout, he would go to first place over Ward. And that's exactly what he needs, a knockout.
How much time was left when he knocked out Jermaine Taylor? Less than 10 seconds.
Let him go.
Abraham known for his late fight drama, his heroics. Can he pull one more out of the hat?
All he can hope to do at this point is let Froch jab and try to fire a right hand with everything he's got.
Less than a minute to go in round 12. But Abraham not fighting like a desperate person.
No, and it's awful late in his career to be learning counterpunching 101.
Left-right combination to the head by Froch. Froch in and out. What a gorgeous fight by Carl Froch. Total domination. Now Froch wisely ties Abraham up. 25 seconds to go. Oh, he hit him on the back of the head. Froch will back off as Abraham. I thought he'd make more of that under the circumstances.
Boy, you know, when you have neutral officials, Abraham get no love from Frank Garza with the low blow or the rabbit punch.
Here we go, final seconds of the fight. Abraham looking for the home run. Froch comes back, and that's it. And there's no doubt about it. Here in the Super 6. What a performance by Carl Froch. His girlfriend, Rachel Cordingley, loves it. The unofficial third member of our broadcast team, Rachel Cordingley. I think she got more airtime than the two of us combined.
And after myself, she's the second best looking of the three of us.
Very good.
Well, this has to be satisfying for Froch, being that he's regaining a title he formerly held.
Carl Froch, hearing it from the crowd, particularly the fans behind us, his friends and family, gets hoisted into the air by his crew. On his way to recapturing the title belt, he thought he was robbed of. Arthur Abraham with a terrible night, and there is the lovely Rachel, Carl's girlfriend. So Carl Froch will face Glenn Johnson in the semifinals. Arthur Abraham will go against Andre Ward in the Super 6 semifinals, as we wait for the scores to be tallied. So once again, it'll be Froch versus Glenn Johnson. Very interesting matchup. Yep, and Andre Ward against Arthur Abraham in the semifinals.
And everything in this tournament seems to be working out for Andre Ward. Virgil Hunter, his trainer, said Vika is the perfect style for him to prepare for Arthur Abraham. Interesting. And we get action from the final round. Arthur Abraham did fight with a little more sense of urgency. What he didn't fight more was what he didn't get was a little more success. That was a legitimate rabbit punch. Garza didn't give Abraham any break there, though, because Abraham looked like he was looking for some help.
Could you be a translator?
So Carl Froch will jump from number 4 to number 2 seed in the Super 6 standings, improving to 2-1 in the tournament after we hear the scores. Standing by to send it up to the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official word. Frank Garza between.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Bert Clements scores about 119 to 109. Judges Max DeLuca and Oren Schellenberger both scores about 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner. And having regained his title, he is now the two-time WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Carl the Cobra Froch.
A glorious night in Helsinki for Carl Froch. Utterly dominating performance over Arthur Abraham, again the WBC Super Middleweight champ. So happy to be adorned again with that green belt of the WBC, and he bounces back from his first loss.
As we take a look at the numbers, Carl Froch not only throwing twice as many punches as Arthur Abraham, but landing twice as many. He made the jobs of Bert Clements, Oren Schellenberger, and Max DeLuca very easy, and they scored a shutout with the exception of Clements, who gave the 9th round to Arthur Abraham. That's the only round on all 3 cards that was given to Arthur Abraham.
So congratulations to Carl Froch. Terribly disheartening night for Arthur Abraham, who loses now in consecutive fashion after going 31-0 and unable to capture his 2nd division crown. And now a huge mountain to climb against Andre Ward. So it's going to be Carl Froch and Glenn Johnson in the semis. We'll have a post-fight interviews coming up from right here in Helsinki, but stay tuned for the second part of our championship doubleheader. We'll go back to Oracle Arena in Oakland, California for the WBA Super Middleweight Championship. Hometown hero Andre Ward is the unbeaten WBA Super Middleweight champ, the favorite of the Super 6, and in the middle of a run that could make him one of the truly special fighters of his generation. Tonight, he'll risk it all in a tough non-tournament title bout. Sakio Bika, a powerful contender who proved his mettle in 2007 by outlasting Jadon Podrington to win the best fight in the 4-year history of the Contender Series. Bika's fought sparingly since, but he is primed to upset Ward and turn the super middleweight division upside down. It's Andre Ward versus Sakio Bika coming up next here on Showtime. Back to the business at hand here in Helsinki as we take a look at how the scoring went for Abraham versus Froch. A masterful performance by the Englishman Carl Froch. Total domination. The official judges' scorecards, Oren Schellenberger and Max DeLuca had it a shutout, 120 to 108. And only Bert Clements gave Arthur Abraham around round number 9. He had it 119 to 109. And as far as our panel of press row judges, Mika Forsström of Boxing.fi, the largest Finnish boxing website, 119-109 for Froch. Matthias Brzezinski of Die Welt, a German newspaper, 118-110 Froch. And Gareth Davis of the London Daily Telegraph had it 119-110 for Carl Froch. We're set for post-fight comments. Let's go into the ring and Steve Farhood. Steve?
Carl Froch, another close decision. Did you think you won? Just kidding. I know you were confident coming in, but did you think there was any way that you would be as dominant as you were?
Yes, definitely. There was still another couple of gears there, not being big-headed or taking anything away from Arthur Abraham, but I sat behind the jab. I used my range, my boxing ability, and there were so many times I wanted to step in and start unloading shots and, you know, put the shots together. And I've got Rob screaming down my ear. I can hear him. He's my trainer. I do what he tells me to do. Stand off, stand back, let him come, let him come. There was a few times where, you know, the old me would have steamed in and got into a bit of a brawl with him, and that would have been dangerous and it would have been silly because Arthur Abraham's a big puncher. He's a very strong man, and he knows what he's doing. He's waiting and he's cute, but I said from the start I'm too good, too much boxing ability, too much amateur pedigree, too much range, and you know, for the last 3-4 months, up to and including the back injury, I was working on movement, and then when I came back after the back injury, I was back on movement, jabbing, moving with the amateurs. I've got brilliant sparring, you know, big respect to Edwin Rodriguez because he got me ready for this, and Adam Trupish, 2 top fighters, and you know, the sharpness was there, the range was there, the boxing skills, the ability, and I knew that if I used and you know, executed my game plan perfectly, it could be an easy night's work. I said that to a few people, and I've proved it tonight.
Carl, his inability to land anything significant was very striking. It is Arthur Abraham, given the quality of the opposition. Did he land anything that even caught your attention?
Yeah, he landed a couple of stiff jabs up close, but that was my own fault for not getting my right glove high enough. And he landed a couple of silly cuffing right hands, like cuff shots with the inside of the glove at the back of the head when I ducked down low. You know, he tried to get a little bit dirty in there. The referee did an excellent job. But no, he landed nothing with significance that gave me any sort of problem at all, or you would have seen it for yourself with all these cameras.
Well, coming off this, what I think was the best performance of your career, you're going into the semifinals of the Super 6 with a lot of confidence. You'll be fighting Glenn Johnson.
Is that right?
And, well, you jumped from, you have 4 points now, and Glenn Johnson is next. So what do you think, what is your take on Glenn Johnson? I know it's a little early to think about it, but...
When I first turned professional, I went over to Sheffield to do a little bit of training and watch Clinton Woods, and he boxed Glenkov Johnson. Was that fight in England or did it happen in America?
They fought more than once.
Yeah, and I watched that fight, and you know, I watched what Glenkov Johnson did, and I watched him against Roy Jones. You know, he's old school, and he's been around the block a couple of times, but he's an old wise fox. And you've got to give him respect because he still knows what he's doing. He picks the punches nicely, and he's a great fighter. You've got to give him respect for what he's done. I mean, he put Roy Jones Jr. out cold, so he can punch as well, which makes him dangerous. I was a bit unsure about what he's going to do at super middleweight, but he proved that by beating Alan Green in style. And Alan Green's a good fighter, he deserves respect, and Johnson did a good job against him. He did a better job than what Ward did, so I won't be taking Johnson lightly at all, but he's a gentleman, as am I. I say a few things tongue-in-cheek and upset people and wind people up. People get the wrong idea of me, but you know, I'm very professional in what I do. I don't mean to offend or upset anybody, and you know, if Glenn Johnson's watching, I look forward to that fight, and I'll be giving him big respect going in there.
Well, Carl Froch, we don't have to say anything else. You said it all with your 12 rounds of boxing. Good luck in the semifinals.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And Arthur Abraham, Johannes Berendt will translate for us. The first question, why was Arthur so ineffective in trying to do what he was trying to do?
Warum warst du heute so ineffektiv bei dem, was du gemacht hast?
Weiß nicht, hat es nicht geklappt.
I'm not sure, it didn't work today.
Was he conscious that he needed to adapt to the fight because he didn't make any changes?
War dir bewusst, dass du dich im Kampf hättest ändern müssen, weil du gar nichts geändert hast im ganzen Kampf?
Hat nicht geklappt, war heute der bessere Boxer, hat gewonnen.
Well, it didn't work. He was the better man tonight and he won.
What exactly didn't work?
Was genau hat denn heute nicht geklappt?
Alles, was ich vorhatte.
Everything that I planned to do didn't work.
Next up will be Andre Ward in the semifinals of the Super 6. His feelings about Andre Ward and fighting him.
Als nächstes boxst du im Halbfinale des Super 6 Turniers gegen Andre Ward. Was hältst du von diesem Kampf und von diesem Aufeinandertreffen?
Das wird ein sehr harter Kampf für uns beide, aber ich werde alles geben, dass ich gewinne.
It will be a very tough fight for both of us, but I will give everything to win this fight.
Arthur Abraham, good luck in the semifinals.